Okay. Hey guys, let me mute this music here and we'll get started. So happy Thursday evening. I'm excited you guys are on the team call tonight. This is our first time actually using Zoom. Um, well, it's like the first time we fully used Zoom. We used Zoom last Thursday, as you guys know. You guys have to check out the picture I put on Facebook last night because I didn't realize it. We used Instant Presenter and Zoom at the same time because we had Autumn Calabrese on our call. And she wanted to use Zoom, and all of us have never used Zoom, and we weren't prepared for that last-minute thing. So her and I did a Zoom, but you guys had Instant Presenter. You guys logged in with Instant Presenter, and I recorded the Zoom I put record on the Zoom, which records the little video, and it was a video of Autumn and I chatting. So the video shows like our presenter screen, and then the Autumn and I chat. But on my screen, I just saw Autumn. On hers, she just saw me. So I thought on the recording it would show Autumn, and it just showed my face the whole time. And I moved the screen over when she was talking she was going into her story. I moved it over right into the middle, and it was my face on the recording on top of her body on the photo on the presenter. And it like lined up almost perfect. It's very awkward. So if you want a good laugh, go look at that. It's pretty hilarious. So this is our first time on doing a Zoom. I like it. I can see many of your faces on here, which is I like that better. And it gets a little more personal. I can see you guys a little bit better. We're excited to have Meg on here. I'll give her a welcome here in a minute. But I just want to say shout out to many of you guys for getting registered for the cruise, for the 2016 Success Club Cruise. I would still say if you're not registered yet and you're fully committed to building your business this year, to get on the wait list right now and give yourself that challenge and that initiative to fight for and earn. We had, I believe, 22 personally sponsored coaches get registered on the cruise, and a big list of our coaches on the wait list as well. So we want to represent on that cruise. I want to be on that cruise with you guys, and I want to build this business with you guys this year. So if you're not on the wait list, make sure you get on there. Another thing, Scott and Megan Gucky recorded our entire Super Saturday. So if you missed your Super Saturday, we have the 3 local stories on there as well as the presentation if you missed it. You can also find the presentation in your coach office. But mark your calendars now for April to go to the next Super Saturday because they're phenomenal. And I'm going to rush through these because we want Meg on the call. You guys hear from me all day long. So make sure that you guys are ready for that. Make sure that you guys are marking your calendar. Listen to the National Wake Up Calls as well. I mean, we have the most amazing business where the best coaches in the company want to share with you how to build this business. So if you're serious about this, you want to take advantage of that. I don't know of any other business, if you were trying to build one, where your competitor, as you could look at them, Megan's our competitor. Like, she's on here teaching us her tricks. So get on these calls. Get on the national calls. Teach your teams to do the same. And also, on top of getting registered for the cruise and listening to these calls, make sure that you guys are I would still even say if you're not on the wait list for Summit, it may sound crazy, but get on the wait list because I fully believe Beachbody will find a way to get everybody off the wait list and accommodate everybody. And if they don't, we do have half of the entire Embassy Suites reserved for our team. And we still have many spaces, many rooms open there. They're 2-room suites. So you guys are welcome to come hang. If they don't let you into Summit, you can come hang out with us. We'll have our own mini Summit after hours. So we want you at Summit as well. So remember that. Remember the promotions for this month. I want you guys to know where to find those in the Coach Online office. If you go to the right-hand side under Coach Breaking News, you can see the January promotion. So take advantage of those this month and help your customers, your friends, family get into challenge packs. I want you guys to know what I'm doing. I'm here trying to run challenge groups just with you guys, trying to go out and find coaches for our team, just like you guys are doing. I mean, right after this call, I have 2 15-minute calls. On my drive to the recording studio with my band, I got 2 coach opportunity calls. And to give you an example, what I did is, if you guys saw, we made Caleb Thomas helped us make a little video of a few of my personally sponsored coaches saying how Beachbody's changed your life. It's really awesome. It shows like, I lost weight, I have more energy, I have financial freedom. It hits on all these amazing things. I have great friendships, I have people, I have time freedom. There's all these great ways, and like 2-minute punch of just you guys and your faces saying, This is how it's changed my life. And all I did was to some people that I've had conversations with, I just sent a simple message that said like, hey, would you do me a favor and watch this 2-minute video and let me know out of what you learned from this video, if there's anything in that video that you could benefit from. And these people are like, yeah, I like, the fact that you have people hold you accountable, or, and out of those messages I sent yesterday, I got 2 phone calls set up for tonight to introduce them to Beachbody. So I want you guys to know that that's what I'm doing right now, to introduce Beachbody to people. And I'm in the trenches with you guys working on that. But let's get to the most important part of this call. We got Meg. And Meg, I'll have to tell you a little joke. Let me unmute you real quick here. Okay. Meg's on. Can you?
Gonna put me on the spot or something?
No, we can hear you though. But so before on Facebook, many of our coaches have followed you, Meg Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I announced the call. I have your married, your new name on there, and one of our coaches said, "Man, it's not even any easier to pronounce her name now that it got changed." So you have to even tell me. I don't know how to pronounce your husband's last name.
Kozlowski.
Kozlowski. We got it. Okay, Meg Kozlowski. So Meg has been a coach. Tell us when you started as a coach, Meg. What year did you get
I started in 2009, you guys. I was 23 years old, and I started in 2009. I'm like an old person in the Beachbody world.
So she's an old person in the Beachbody world. And I'll go a little bit deeper into letting her tell her story in a minute. But she started in 2009. She's been a Success Club 10 legend. Been in Success Club 10 for 27 months. We decided it was around 27, 28 months in Success Club 10. She was a top 10 coach last year. Where did you land this? I mean, she was a top 10 coach in 2013. Her and I got to go to Italy together on that trip. But where did you end up last year?
19.
19. Phenomenal. Top 25 in the company again. And the year before she was in the top 10, guys, she was number 11. So this is like the top 20 for 3 years in a row in the company. So she has a lot of stuff that she could share with us and teach us. What was the number of diamonds you've had? You have like 17 lifetime diamonds. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
17 lifetime diamonds. Once again, a coach since 2009. One of the things we were going to have her talk to us about today is kind of just the importance of being consistent. She'd let us know she started as a coach in 2009. I think it's a very unique story on how she became a coach and started and decided to really build the business and when that started. But Megan, I don't want to do all the talking for you. So we're just going to let you take it away. Tell us your story, like before Beachbody, how you got introduced to Beachbody, and what you would attribute your success to that we can take away and apply to our lives.
All right, Scotty, thank you so much for having me on this Zoom. I've never really spoken on a Zoom like this. So if I don't look like I'm looking at you, in my eyes, I'm looking at you. It's like a little thrown off. And my puppy, I don't know if you follow me, but my puppy is like right under my legs. So if you hear anything, it's my little Labradoodle. She's got to be by my side all the time. But I had the privilege of getting to know Scotty and Gabby a lot in Italy. We actually like all broke up into groups throughout the week. And it was like the same, like it was us and Heather Fultz and Scotty and Gabby, like John Compton and his girlfriend, like literally every time we did anything. And it was so awesome because we got so close. And like when Kirk and I talk about Scotty and Gabby, we just love you guys. Just because you guys are so lucky. You have such an amazing leader with such a genuine good heart. Like when he talks about Beachbody, it just like I get teary-eyed. I get excited. I always talk about like, I want to find my Scotty, because you're one of a kind for sure. But I'll get into the meat and potatoes of the call. So like Scotty said, I signed up as a coach in 2009. And the reason that I found Beachbody is that I have my degree in nutrition. I graduated and, at 23, moved back home. I was broke as a joke. Like I had been teaching spin classes, but this is a little side note, but I was dating a loser in Chicago and I live in Ohio and I was driving every weekend to go see this loser boy. And so I was like in using a debit card with money that I didn't have. And so I was extremely broke when I moved back home. I moved home with my parents, and I was 30 pounds overweight. I was supposed to be going on to become a registered dietitian, but I felt like such a hypocrite at that time. You know, I could not find anything to pull me out. At that point, I was very big into emotional eating and just not feeling good about myself because of that loser boy. Oh, don't you hate when we do that, girls? But, you know, so I was trying to find somewhere where I fit in and just to make myself feel better. And I couldn't find anything. I moved back home, and none of my friends moved back home. I was hanging out with my parents every night. And my mom and I actually saw the infomercial for Turbo Jam. And so we started doing Turbo Jam. I think I actually ordered it from Amazon. Shame on me. But I didn't know, you know, when your customers order it from Amazon or eBay, they don't know. You know, I had no idea that there was coaches out there. And I think I actually reached out to my coach, and they ignored me. Like, I was like that customer that we want, right? And I totally got ignored. So I started doing Turbo Jam, and you know, I was seeing results, and Shakeology had just come out in 2009. And I actually realized that at the end of the infomercial, it shows all of the different cast members. And one of them was Janelle Summers. And I'm sure all of you guys have hopefully know who Janelle Summers is. She's an amazing person. But she lived locally to me. And my sister was actually doing Turbo Kick classes, like live Turbo Kick classes with her. She's like, hey, Meg, she's looking for an assistant. Well, at that time, I was still starstruck by Janelle. I'm like, she's this Turbo Jam girl. So I Facebook messaged her, right? Because Facebook is how we all communicate. And I grew up in that age where I think Facebook came out when I was a freshman in college. So I got it. You know, that's how I communicated. So I Facebook messaged her and was like, hey, just a heads up, if you want an assistant, you know, it was better words than that. But basically, I got hired to be Janelle's assistant. And was kind of helping her organize her business. And if you hear her tell her story, she didn't even have enough money. She wasn't making enough money to pay me. But you know, her and her husband made that decision to have an assistant because they saw what this business, the potential of it. So I started working for Janelle. I was going for my master's full-time in public health nutrition, trying to hold off on paying my loans because I was still super broke. And Janelle approached me, and she got me hooked on Shakeology, like completely hooked. If you've ever made it, like she does the peanut butter and the banana and the almond milk, like, you know, that like frosty, amazing Shakeology. So she got me hooked. And, you know, she said, Meg, you have the background in nutrition. You're losing weight. At that point, I had lost about 15, 20 pounds. And she's like, you need to be a coach. And at that time, I was like, no, like there's no way. I had not fixed the inside. I was still that lonely, insecure girl that let a boy break her down. And I was still dating that boy at the time. Ooh. But anyway, so I signed up as a coach for the discount because she's like, you know what, you might as well just save 25% off. So I signed up, and I started watching what other coaches were doing. And I'm like, you know, I let 6 months go by before it really dawned on me that I could totally do this. It was Mindy Wonder, who, I don't know if you follow her, but she's Janelle's top coach. She's from a very small town in way up in Michigan, like way up here. And just this shy, skinny, you know, genuine girl. And I thought, if she can do it, why can't I do that? So this leads me to my first tip. Okay, you've got to be willing to be yourself. Okay, you've got to inspire people through your actions, not just through your words. I mean, we can put a post up and say that we're working out, but if you're not really doing it, you're not actually putting the actions, it's not going to pay off. And you've got to share with them what's working for you. You know, I think a lot of coaches get hung up. I just was on a Zoom chat with some of my Push to Diamond girls, and I think that we get hung up on what to say to people, and that like we don't have the background to teach them all stuff. Just share what works for you. That's all you can do. And I saw someone put this quote up the other day that just hit me really hard, and of course I put it up too. Be so unapologetically you that the haters run the other way. Okay, so I started doing that. It was probably March of 2010, so I'd already been a coach for 7 months, and I started to be myself. I had one of the first like pages in Facebook history, I think, because I thought, I don't want to annoy my friends. I'm going to move on to a like page. And So I started doing that. I started being myself, and I started noticing that when I started being myself, more people were attracted to me. And I was like, oh, I found something. You know, if I'm just myself, I'm attracting a lot of people just like me, which is pretty cool, right? So and I think my first check, this is going to blow your mind. I was a coach for 7 months. My first check was, I think, like exactly 7 months after I signed up, for $70. I had a girl I met on Twitter who, for some reason, because I was the first coach that had talked to her about coaching, decided to sign up with me. And that got me to Emerald, because you better believe I signed my mom up immediately. I was like, oh, you know, like, I'm Emerald. And then that girl dropped, and I was back down, and I signed my dad up, you know, because at that point I had made that decision. I had made that decision that I was going to go. Like, this business was going to go for me. And so the end of 2010, I was going to get my master's full time, working for Janelle, as well as trying to build this business and hold my own fitness, you know, and breaking up with that loser boy, you know, so trying to find a social life at the age of 23. Or was I 24 at that time? Yeah. So the end of 2010, I was a hobby coach. I was most definitely a hobby coach, trying to find my footing and not really knowing what to do. And I was a hobby coach until the end of 2011. And at the end of 2011, I had been working my full-time job for, I want to say, 7 months. I worked at a local YMCA as an exercise manager. And you would have thought that would have been my dream job. I got to teach fitness classes all day and just talk to people about fitness and nutrition all day. No, it was like the worst experience ever. I don't know if any of you guys work at the Y, but when your instructors don't show up and you're in charge of them, you have to teach the classes. So I was teaching like 6 classes a day, drinking like 8 cups of coffee, feeling like crap. My poor now husband, like, we were on the verge of breaking up all the time because I was so, you know, wired all the time and trying to make this business work and still treating it like a hobby. I was not putting enough time in there at all. But this is when I really put my head down, okay? I put my head down at the end of 2011 and I said, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm going. And I think at that time, treating it like a hobby, I was making around $500 a week, which is still pretty decent, right? To treat something as a hobby and get $500, it was a nice little pay raise right there. Definitely making more than at my full-time job at that point. And I gave myself 6 months. I said, by May of 2012, I'm going to quit my full-time job. And my parents had about heart attacks. You know, I'm their baby girl. I was the one that has the masters and everything. And they're like, you're going to work from home and you're going to be a beach body coach? Like, what? And, you know, this brings me to my next point. You got to put your head down and focus what you have to do. Okay? So many times I hear from my coaches around me, especially on my team, so-and-so signed up after me and they're already at 10-star. So-and-so signed up after me and they're already making $1,000 a week. You can't do that to yourself. It's not fair to you. You know, it only knocks you off your A game. And I get it. I get stuck at it too. You know, I've been a coach since 2009. I've seen so many people pass me, so many people, but I can't focus on that, you know, and at this point, in 2012, I wasn't focusing on that. I think the only coaches I really knew who they were like Janelle Summers and Christine Dwyer. I didn't really like focus on anyone because I had that end goal in sight. You know, I wanted to really focus. I wanted to do me and you know, be inspired by other people, but really focus on myself. Okay. And that's what you have to do. I know all of you guys have big, huge goals. You're part of Scotty's team. I know he's awesome at helping you guys set up like awesome goals. I mean, look at what he's been able to accomplish. But you have to do it. You have to put those blinders on. I know Scotty remembers this from leadership. We had this amazing speaker who talked about, she was doing these kind of, what were they? These challenges, like endurance challenges. And she was rowing a boat and she was with 4 people. And the guy in front of her turned around and looked at her and they were like racing another boat and said something to her. And she literally grabbed his head and turned it around and made it go forward. And I tell my coaches that all the time. You are not going to be able to keep moving forward if you're looking to the side. Okay, you're going to crash into something. You have to look forward. Okay, you guys are part of an amazing team that's doing amazing things. And I mean, to have, like, you guys are part of Melanie Mitro and Lindsay Matway. You have some, and Scotty, like, you guys are part of an amazing team of really big movers and shakers. But you guys are one of those mover and shakers too, okay? They're just showing you what's possible, okay? So look at them and say, that's awesome. I'm going to be the next one. I'm going to be the next one that gets up there. Every coach has the same opportunity, but what makes those soar is that inner belief, okay? So for me, I had that inner belief finally in 2012, and I did. I quit my job by May of 2012, and now it's been almost 3 years, which is crazy. But it pushed me out of my comfort zone because I had to really hone into those 3 vital behaviors every single day from January of 2012 until May of 2012. And you guys hear that, and I've had so many people say, Meg, what do you do to make your business take off? Like, what did you do? And I wish I had a better answer, but it really is just doing those basic things. You hear John Maxwell talk about it. Like, when you feel your business is falling off course, go back to the basics. And you're right back at there. I have my coaches. I have my BAT right here because I have my coaches filling it out. And you better believe I'm filling it out right along with them because that's one of the things that I lack at. And when I'm not filling it out, my business goes down. But when I'm filling it out, my business, that's like, one of my coaches said before I got on this Zoom is we are so open to letting ourselves down before every other person. So when you're filling out your BAT and you put those goals on there and you get to the end of the week and you're like, oh, I didn't hit adding 20 people. Darn. No, you have to be focusing on those goals that push you out of your comfort zone. That's number 3. You want to set goals for yourself that push you out of your comfort zone every 3 months, I would say, and for me, like, I'm not saying that you have to set a goal for the next 3 months to quit your full-time job. If that's your goal, go for it. You can totally do it. You can do it. If it's not your goal, that's okay. Maybe in 6 months or 9 months or what, you don't even have to quit your job, maybe some other goal. But what you have to do is you have to have something that is like pushing you out of your comfort zone that makes you sweat. Like, even doing, like, I'm an introvert, you'd never guess it, but I'm totally sweating doing this call for you guys right now because I'm totally an introvert. But it pushes me out of my comfort zone. It makes me a better leader. And I love Scotty, so I could never say no to doing this. I want to tell you guys, no one cares in this business that you fail except for you. Like, your coaches are not going to be like, your upline. It's not going to be like, sorry, you're off the team. You failed. You didn't hit that goal. You're the only person. And what I do when I set a goal, like, I was supposed to be 15-star, like, 10 months ago. I had that goal, and I know Scotty and I were both like, let's be in the top 10 again. Neither one happened. Neither life happened, And for me, I don't know if you guys follow, but, like, I have had a terrible year of health. It sucks. And for me, like, pushing myself out of the comfort zone for a couple months was not good for me because it was creating a lot of stress. But now when I look back, it's like, okay, in 2012, when I was pushing myself out of my comfort zone, like I said, I quit my job by May of 2012. I got a call like 2 days later from someone from corporate who doesn't work there anymore, but he called and was like, hey, do you know that you're in the running to be in, an elite coach? And at that point, you only had to be a 2-star. I'm like, I don't know what an elite coach is, but I'm going to do it. And that was my next goal for those next 6 months. I had no idea what I was doing. I know Scotty talks about this. You have to jump and find your wings on the way down. I was like, hey, Janelle, what is this elite? What do I have to focus on? Let's go. And I finished number 11. And did that hurt a little bit? Yeah, but that burn went away when I found out that the trip was to Italy the next year. I was like, you can ask Jeremy Rudd. I was like, all right, I'll be on that trip. And that was my next goal. So number 3, you have to set goals that push you out of your comfort zone, okay? So I want everyone, when you get off of this, you guys have already set goals. What am I talking about? But look over your goals and make sure that they are like, I call them hairy, scary goals. Ones that like you look at them and you're like, whew, like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I'm going to hit it. It's got to be that kind of goal. Like, I'm looking at my goals above my wall right now above my computer. And like Kirk, my husband, walks in sometimes and he's like, "Are you sure about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing it. Like, let's go." And he, he's a believer finally. Okay. So I'm not going to lie, from probably, the beginning of 2013, so right when I finished number 11 in 2012, to about August of 2013, it was pretty smooth sailing. Like my coaches were clicking, they were getting it. I went from 2-star to 9-star. Things were blowing up. I was excited. My leg page was like huge. I was like, I made it. Smooth sailing, right? Like I'm good. And then something hit me dead in my tracks. I broke my wrist very severely. Like, I don't think you guys can see the scars from here, but Scotty's seen them. I broke it very severely in 2013. And I know that you've got some religious people on here. I very strongly believe that it was the universe or God telling me, slow the heck down. Slow the heck down. And I didn't listen. I did not listen. Lots of people, I'm going to try not to cry, but a lot of people told me, "You're inspiring me. You keep moving." Like I couldn't write. Like I'm right-handed. I went and bought that thing that you like put on your head and talk into, so you type. So I did not miss a beat on my business. And I thought I was doing amazing. Okay. And this is the next tip. Success is not convenient, but it creates a life of convenience. I love that quote. I love that quote because success is not convenient. It's not. You're not going to have it handed to you on a silver platter and, say, "Good job. You worked hard for a couple days. You're a 5-star Diamond Elite coach." You have to put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. You have to put in a lot of times where you fail and you're like, "All right, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure things out." And a lot of times you have something hit you where you're like, "How am I going to recover from this?" But you do, and like Scotty said, I finished number 6 in top 10 of 2013. And that was an awesome achievement for my team. It was amazing. And it came from being consistent. I was doing my personal development. I was talking to people. I was teaching my coaches everything that I was doing. I was doing the Slight Edge, and everything from those last 2 years was paying off. And so, what's important through all of that whole year is I continued to stay consistent with everything that I shared with you guys above. So all 4 of those tips. Did I hit all of the goals that I set for this year? No, absolutely not. But, I got close and then maybe not so much, but I have a couple more tips before we get off. Okay, the next one is giving it your all every time you're working. Okay, you have to understand that the people that you're talking to need you today. This is something that was like it kind of hit me. Another thing that hit me dead in the face, just like breaking my wrist, is my spiritual life sucked. It completely sucked. And it took going to church and having, the priest say a homily that made me bawl my eyes out and have all these people, come up to me. Like my coaches are the most spiritual people ever, come at me just out of nowhere like, "Hey, you should try this devotional and you should try this." And I'm like, "All right, I get it. I get it." And finally I gave in and I've been doing a devotional every single day. And what I do in my devotional, and there's lots of girls on here, I read, what is it? From God's Mouth to a Woman's Ear, I think it's called. It's just a tiny little book. It's like $5. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so I'll sit down and I read that and then I silence my mind for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm a pretty hyper person. I'm always trying to move. So 5 to 10 minutes is good. But I make sure that when I'm doing that devotional, before I silence my mind, I really make sure that I say to, whatever you believe in, the universe or God or whatever, I say, "Please connect me with the people today that need to talk to me." Okay. So obviously all of you guys need to be connected to me today, so it happens like that. And what happens when you go into your workday like that is that you approach your messages in such a more genuine, real way. And people see that, they're like, "You know what? You're a breath of fresh air." And from doing that, I cannot even tell you the kind of messages I've been getting. It's like a whole 180. And yeah, you might be able to look back at the past 2 years and be like, she's been pretty successful. But I have no doubt that the next couple of years are going to even be more successful because of that turn that I've taken, which is crazy for me to say that because I'm not a spiritual person, you guys. So for you to hear that, it's pretty crazy. Okay. So I also make sure that when I'm working, so I'm getting quality work in, I set timers, okay? Because, yeah, my business is a priority, but so is my husband, so is my puppy, so are my nieces and nephews, so are other things in my life. I don't want my business to consume my whole life. I still want to be successful, and you can still be extremely successful and not spend 8 hours a day working on your business, okay? Because what happens when you do that is you forget about everything else. And I did that once, and I look back and I almost lost my husband because of it. We weren't spending, he would come over to my apartment and I would be like, sorry, I got to get on a call, and he's like, I thought we were going to hang out. And I'm like, I got to do this call. And 2 people would get on it. Oh man. But anyways, so make sure that you're setting timers and really keeping yourself on track for that. EntreLeadership, he has a lot of tips on how to set up your to-do list and track things and stuff like that. So if you haven't read that, amazing book. Okay, so number 7, I'm going to stop rambling. Number 7, stop taking yourself so seriously. This is probably like the number 1. Stop taking yourself so seriously. This business is supposed to be fun. Okay. And when you're being consistent and you're doing the little things every single day, just like fitness, when you're eating healthy and you're working out, you're going to see results. But what happens is we get so caught up in doing those things every single day that they almost become monotonous. Okay. And you kind of lose what I said in the above, where you should be giving it your all and talking to these people genuinely and really, believing in helping them. So when you start seeing yourself get so wrapped up in the business, take a vacation, okay? Like, it doesn't have to be like an all-out, like go to Cancun in a couple months type trip, but it can be, go out to dinner with your spouse or your best friend or just something. Shut down technology. I cannot tell you how good it feels to just turn off my phone and, spend time with my husband and not have him, have me picking up my phone all the time. Have you guys tried that? Have you ever realized how, caught up we are in our freaking phones, just turn it off and stop taking yourself so seriously. When you do things in this business, have fun with it, and we all mess up. I can't tell you, I just scheduled a post on my page about coaching and I guarantee it probably didn't do very well. Guess what? I'll go delete it as soon as I get off this Zoom with you guys. So it's like, oh, I don't want anyone to see that. But I do that stuff. You can't take yourself too seriously because you'll never be able to find out what works if you don't try. So that's pretty much, and the rest of my story is pretty much that, I went through a crappy year in 2014, but I was able to find my spiritual growth and all of that stuff. And I believe everything happens for a reason. And I do believe that 2015 is going to be an amazing year for you and your team. I mean, I know that Scotty has big goals and big dreams for you guys. And I'm excited to watch all of you guys soar. So thank you so much for having me on the Zoom. I feel very, very honored to be able to talk to all of you guys.
Thanks, Meg. Yeah, we do have big goals and big dreams. We feel blessed. You shared so many nuggets. I'm over here writing down notes. I have a whole page of notes of things that I can apply. So thank you. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you one question because I know you've gone through it. And I've gone, I answered this for one of my coaches today, but I want them to hear it from you as well, what your intake is on it. So one of the things I know, and I was kind of like this in the very beginning, you're starting out in this business, or maybe you have one coach or 2 coaches, you're a brand new emerald, and you want to grow this business like you have, maybe full-time. Maybe you have a goal to pay off a lot of debt, and you realize that you've got to build a team to do that. But there's this fear of, right, this little fear of, but I don't know I don't know everything about the business. So how can I invite somebody to the business? Like, what if I fail them, or what if I don't know how to train them? What would you say to a coach that wants to build a business, but maybe they're talking to people and they have people excited, but they're just not taking that next step, right? Hey, sign up. Here's your challenge pack link. Sign up as a coach. Join the team. They're just not taking that one step because of that fear of not knowing everything. What would you say to somebody with that type of fear or that
they need more personal development, because it begins with that. You have to have that inner belief that you're going to be an amazing leader. And have Scotty and I taken like college classes on being leaders? No, we were thrown into these leadership positions that you learn as you go along. And your coaches get that. They get that. But before you have that inner belief in yourself, there's no way that you can ever lead any other coach, I think.
Awesome. So number one, believe in yourself, which comes through the personal development. Learn those skills as you go. I would add on to that, just let them know, like, it's okay to let them know you don't know all the answers. It's like, this is just fun. We're helping people. We'll figure it out on the way.
My coaches, like, they know that I am not I don't realize all the little details and stuff. Like, I had no idea that there was going to be a challenge pack for the Beachbody On Demand. I was like on a Zoom with my team and I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do that. And my one coach is like, they're having a challenge pack they talked about on the National Wake Up Call. I'm like, I listened to the National Wake Up Call. It's just the little details, so your coaches get it. You just got to let them know, like, I'm not always going to be perfect. I'm going to mess up.
Perfect. So let them know that you're just like them, relatable. You don't know everything, that you're a part of this journey with them. Oh, that's great. Okay, awesome. I know a lot of us, including yourself, want to get back to the extremely fun stuff of talking to people, connecting, inviting people.
I'm going to take a bath, whatever. I'm done.
I know I'm going to the recording studio, so maybe I'll mention Beachbody. But the one thing I wanted to share about Megan, 2009 is when she started as a coach, but just pushing herself and believing in herself landed her in the top 20 in 3 years in a row. I'm sure she'll land in the top 20 this year again. I don't know what her specific goals are, but I have to tell you, one other really cool fact is all of that consistency, overcoming bad relationships, not having belief in herself, that process she went through over the course of, 6 years now, close to 6 years as a coach. By staying consistent and growing and not giving up and not worrying about where everybody else is at in the race, it was only her against herself and becoming better. That 2 weeks from now, she is going to join the Millionaire Club with Team Beachbody. So, and she's introverted, just like me. And it's kind of a unique thing. Just to close this, she said me and Gabby, her and Kirk and Heather Foltz, and we just all connected together because we were the most introverted ones in the group, I believe. So likes attract likes. So we are naturally drawn to each other. So we could, not be the ones that are all Gabby and talking a whole bunch. We could just have our little small conversations one-on-one, have our little introvert parties at a low level. So, you attract people to you like that, just like we were attracted to each other as a group on the trip. You're going to attract people in like you. So that's why that personal development is so important, that you believe in yourself, because once you do, you're going to attract people in that will have that mindset like you. I always think of myself like that. If I come to work on my business, like Meg said, getting in the zone and getting connected with your purpose, if you're not connected and you're all not strung out, that's a druggy term, but you're all like, wired and stressed, you're going to attract that type of thing into your business. So it's an important step of 5-10 minutes getting in tune with your goals, in tune with your purpose, and just not being so. That was my biggest takeaway from you that I want to thank you for, is just not taking yourself so serious. Like, treat your business serious, but don't take yourself so serious. And I want to make that challenge to all of us. And Meg, once again, I just want to say thank you. We learned a lot from you today. And we are going to show you that we're going to take into action a lot of things that you've shared. You're going to see many of these coaches on this team following in your footsteps. So thank you once again. And guys, remember, next week we have our team call. Let me know in the team page if you prefer this Zoom or if you prefer the instant presenter, because we still have both options. So I want to know from you guys what you guys prefer, because we still have both platforms to use. So let me know in the team page which you prefer, and we'll we'll go that route. So, all right, guys. Thank you, guys. We put our goal boards up in the team page. I want to see yours. We want to see what you guys want so that we know how to better guide you to those goals. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you all next week. Thanks, Meg.
No problem.
Okay, bye-bye.